Hello, this is Dave Travels in Time again. So I'm talking about episode 2 now. We're continuing what I was talking about. So basically, the continuation. So, yeah, like I said, Anakin's mom died. Then he gets mad, kills the sand people, and then, he brings her body back to the family, the large family, and they do a little funeral ceremony thing. That's after, the scene where he got upset about, where he was like talking about Padme, they're animals and they deserve to be slaughtered and stuff like that. Um, so, basically, this next part is, and then they get a distress signal from Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan had been captured when he was investigating, when he went on the planet investigating Jango Fett. And he encountered Count Dooku, played by Christopher Lee. And so they get on the lookout, they go to the planet, and then obviously Geonosis, I believe that was the name of the planet, yeah. And then they get captured. Padme and Anakin get captured, and then it's just a whole mess. But luckily, the Jedi come later, and then of course Yoda brings the clone troopers, and then there's these whole battles and stuff on Geonosis, and this is basically the start of the Clone War, basically the Clone Wars. Then of course we have the excellent fight scene with Count Dooku, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. Anakin gets his arm cut off, and then Yoda battles Count Dooku, which was kind of cool. And so, yeah, and then I guess Count Dooku has the Death Star plans, which will become an important part for Episode 3 at the end, obviously. But we'll get into that in a second, in a few minutes. And then, yeah, I guess they secretly get married, Anakin and Padme. And that's the end of Episode 2. Decent film. Maybe there's a few minutes where it drags a little bit. Yeah. And then I'll rate that one along with Episode 3 once I finish Episode 3. So Episode 3 is set 3 years after Revenge of the Sith, I guess. Yeah, it's set 3 years after Revenge of the Sith, set 3 years after the Clone Wars and Attack of the Clones. So they basically are battling on the Jedi starfighters, then they go on the ship, and then they're there to rescue the Chancellor Palpatine and McDermott, and they have to face off with Count Dooku. And then basically Obi-Wan gets knocked out, and then Palpatine says, kill Dooku. And so Anakin does kill Count Dooku. And he's like, I shouldn't have done that and stuff. And then all of them they get caught in the crossfire with General Grievous, which is this coughing type robot, and he has like multiple arms with different lightsabers and stuff. And that was interesting. It's interesting he's coughing too, his character, and then he escapes, and then they get the heck out of there, and then they go back to Coruscant. And basically the whole plot of this movie is just about Anakin's fall into the dark side, and it does happen a little quick, I'll admit. And obviously Palpatine had no intention of helping Anakin save Padme. That was not the plan at all. He could care less about Padme. All that Palpatine wanted was Anakin as his new apprentice and do his bidding. That's really all he wanted him to do. And unfortunately, the only one willing to kill Palpatine and get rid of him was Mace Windu. And of course, he dies, or at least we assume he dies. Samuel L. Jackson thinks that maybe he survived. I have no idea. Maybe it's possible he survived. But anyway, and that's the whole thing. Anakin shouldn't have went there to confront Mace Windu and then save Palpatine. That was the big mistake. He shouldn't have went there. He should have either stayed with Padme where they lived, or he should have stayed at the temple. Big mistake on Anakin's part, because once that happened with Mace, there was no going back, because then he was basically, Palpatine's servant to do his bidding. And then, of course, Palpatine was still promising that he would save Padme. Again, a bunch of baloney crap. He had no intention of helping him save Padme at all. There was no plan of that at all. He could care less. So then basically during the middle of that, I guess, Obi-Wan's having to deal with Grievous, to defeat Grievous. And that was going on in the middle of that. And then, of course, Anakin is sent to the temple to basically kill all the Jedi at the Jedi Temple, and then of course he kills the younglings. The very controversial scene of the him killing the younglings. My goodness, oh my goodness, terrible idea on George Lucas' part. I don't know. I am not a fan of the whole killing of the younglings thing. I'm sorry. I do enjoy this film, but that's the one issue I have with this film is just the killing of the younglings, killing children. I'm sorry. I just I just I'm just wrapping my head around this. It's like, okay. It's like even if he was fully possessed by the dark side, right? Like in a Linda Blair like exorcist type thing, which I guess they're kind of hinting, right? Because, him having yellow eyes and stuff, right? So they're hinting like, oh, he's not Anakin anymore. Darth Vader is this separate entity maybe inside him. Um I guess it's possible you can make that excuse and go, oh, okay, because maybe Vader's a separate entity inside his body. Um, like The Exorcist, maybe? I don't know. I guess there are some people that say it's kind of like that. I don't know. But anyway, just the killing of the younglings is just, killing all those poor little kids. It's just terrible to me. How can you do that? Oh my goodness. Ugh. It's like, okay, Jedi's one thing, but when you get to the kids, it's even worse. It's like, oh my goodness. And then, of course, Order 66 is ordered by Palpatine. And then, of course, that happens. So then all the Jedi exterminated on Kashyyyk and other planets. And it's just a big mess. And then, of course, he's, declares himself, Emperor of the new Galactic Empire, and all that. He makes his speech. Oh my goodness. Big tragedy, big mess. Anakin should have stayed, not to confront Mace and, help Palpatine. That was a big mistake, him going to his office like that, the Palpatine's quarters. He should have stayed in the temple or gone to Padme. Then, probably would have, she wouldn't have died, of a broken heart or whatever, what happens later. Because obviously, Anakin's hired to go to Mustafar to kill off all the separatists and stuff, Newt Gunray and all those people. And then, of course, Obi-Wan and, Anakin have the big fight, on Mustafar, because he's stowed away on Padme's ship. And of course, Anakin's paranoid about that. Well, I guess, or if you want to say he's Darth Vader now. He's like, you're in what, like, I guess he assumes that she's in love, that Padme's in love with Obi-Wan, which never happened. It was definitely more like a brother-sister type relationship with them. Anyway. But they have their major battle. He's choking her, and then he's like, Obi-Wan's ordering him to let her go, and then they have their battle on Mustafar, their climactic battle. Then, of course, Obi-Wan declares that he has the high ground, and then Anakin tries to, kill him in the middle of jumping, and then, of course, Obi-Wan, defends himself, and then, obviously Anakin gets burned, and, Obi-Wan does a sad speech, and, we were brothers, I loved you, and you were brought to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it, or something like that, and it's a sad scene. Yeah, I got teary-eyed in that scene, but anyway, so he basically leaves him, because I guess he assumes at that point he's basically burned. I mean, what can he do? But obviously the Emperor rescues him, and then he gets, the famous Darth Vader suit and everything. And then, of course, sadly Padme has a broken heart, I guess, and then, the Skywalker twins are born, Luke and Leia. And that whole thing, and I guess Bail Organa and his wife, I guess, they decide to take Leia in, and then obviously Obi-Wan gives Luke to the Lars family, and then yeah, it's just a big mess. And then Darth Vader, of course, he asks, is Padme alive? And he's like, no. He's like, in your anger, you killed her. And then, of course, he flips out about that. And then he kind of does this dramatic no scene where he's like, it's very, you could tell Lucas probably copied Frankenstein from that scene. And then he does this, the controversial no Anyway, decent film. Not without its issues because of the whole younglings thing. I'm sorry. That just gets me every time, the younglings. I do think it's a good film, but this the younglings thing always gets me on that one. So yeah, Attack of the Clones, I'll give it a 7.5. It drags a little bit in some parts, you know. Revenge, it might be close to that, just because of the whole younglings issue. I don't know. I do like it though a lot. There are other parts in it I really do enjoy. Like the climactic fight scene is done really well. With the Battle of the Heroes theme by John Williams, of course, and there are other scenes in it that are done well. Yeah, so I still enjoy him. Yeah, so that's my review of the prequel trilogy. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care. Peace. Bye for now. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. All right, bye.